first at 9. This is Other Derana 24/7.
President says to hand over Hambantota 15,000 acres to China. Justice Minister slams CTF report. Special commodity levy on imported rice effective tonight. Laughs purchases third vessel. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Other Derana 24/7 News Tonight. I'm Dasuman Premathunga. And let's take a look at the local news. Now, President Maithripala Sirisena assures that no plans have been made to grant 15,000 acres of land in Hambantota to China. The President also said that Sri Lanka will regain the European Union GSP Plus facility next week. He made this statement addressing the opening of the Halloluwa-Dodonwala Bridge in Kandy today. The 105-metre-long Dodonwala-Halloluwa Bridge is built to avert the heavy traffic congestion within Kandy city. This bridge was constructed under British funding at a cost of 374 million rupees.
By next week, we will be able to get GSP Plus, which is important for the international trade, industrial development and the export sector. To mention about the Hambantota port and the industrial zone in Hambantota, I convened all subject ministers and inquired about the land issue. I asked them whether it is mentioned anywhere that 15,000 acres of land in Hambantota will be given. I cannot find such an agreement in any of the documents that land in Hambantota will be sold.
Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says the government is not ready to accommodate any international judges in probes within Sri Lanka. He said this speaking to Other Derana, reacting to the recommendations made in the report of the Consultation Task Force of Reconciliation Mechanisms.
There is no problem of making any recommendations. In terms of our constitution, we are not ready to compromise sovereignty and the independence of this country, and therefore we are not in a position, both under the UN Charter as well as the provisions of our constitution, to accommodate any judges in the proposed mechanism. I don't think it is so controversial. That depends as to how the people take that report, whether it is a serious one or unimportant things. As far as our view is concerned, it is not a serious thing for us because it is only a recommendation, especially with the Human Rights Committee of the United Nations and also the countries including the USA who brought that resolution to the UNCHR. We have discussed and we have indicated categorically what is our position is. At a time like this, when a committee of this nature makes this kind of recommendations, we have a doubt. In fact, people also have a doubt as to whether this kind of committees are trying to establish the reconciliation or in fact that they are trying to destroy the already established reconciliation.
The final report of the Consultation Task Force on Reconciliation Mechanisms was released on Tuesday. It recommends a hybrid court with a majority of national judges and at least one international judge. The Consultation Task Force on Reconciliation Mechanisms was appointed by the Prime Minister in January 2016 as per recommendations of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zaid Rad Al Hussein. Minister Naveen Disanayake today expressed views regarding the CTF report.
අපගේම යුද අපරාධ මනින්ද නිරීක්ෂණය කරන්න ඒවට ඒ අවශ්‍ය විනිශ්චයකරුවන් පත් කරන්න අපිට හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
We have the ability to investigate war crimes and to appoint relevant judges. We do not want foreigners. If these recommendations are to be implemented, we will take serious action against it. We have talented judges within the country. If there are any war crimes, they can prove war that. Foreigners are participate as observers. They could all give us technical support. But the final judgment should be given by our judges.
Professor Siri Hettige says he resigned from the chairmanship of the National Police Commission due to a long overseas teaching commitment. However, he added that he will remain a member of the National Police Commission in order to continue with various plans already initiated. Professor Hettige, responding to Ada Derana following reports that he stepped down, added that he wrote to the Constitutional Council and informed of his position. He says the teaching post too is an assignment that is entrusted upon him by the state. Meanwhile, Constitutional Council member parliamentarian Vijitha Herath says the Constitutional Council has the mandate to recommend a new chairman out of the remaining members. Since Hettige has not resigned from the commission, the President will now have to appoint a new chairman based on the recommendations of the Constitutional Council. Is news for all of you travelling. A resurfacing of the runway at Bandaranaike International Airport began today. Accordingly, the runway will be closed for 8 hours daily from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. until the 6th of April. Meanwhile, airport authorities request all passengers to report to the airport at least 5 hours prior to their scheduled flight in order to reduce inconveniences.
Airport authorities say that check-in counters at BIA will be closed 1 hour prior to scheduled departure time.
During the night, we will have to handle additional volumes of traffic. Therefore, we have made special arrangements to facilitate passengers and the airport users. The check-in counters will commence their operations 5 hours prior to the departure time. So passengers can enter into the airport 5 hours early. And we urge the passengers that they should come with minimum visitors or no visitors to the airport, because departure public concourse is restricted for public now, except for passengers.
It has been a long delayed need to resurface the runway at the BIA, which was initially built in 1986. Around 175 daily air movements have been rescheduled for the evening session.
We look at all the possible options before we decided for 8-hour closure per day. We look at whether present taxiway could be converted to a temporary runway so that there won't be any disruption to the scheduled flights. Then we look at the possibility of using Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport instead of Bandaranaike International Airport. And all these options were found to be not effective in the current context, where we have about 180 to 190 movements.
National carrier Sri Lankan Airlines earlier estimated that the airline would lose around $43 million during the closure. However, authorities say the 30-year-old runway needs to be resurfaced to meet international standards and to ensure security of aircraft that utilize the BIA. Earlier today, resurfacing work began with the participation of Civil Aviation Minister.
We take a short break. We'll be back with business news. Welcome back. Moving on with business news. Now, Laughs Gas has added a third vessel to its shipping fleet at a cost of $3.5 million. Named Gas Courage under the Sri Lankan flag, the vessel becomes the first carrier to be registered under the Hambantota port.
Apart from its first vessel to be registered under the Hambantota port, the company is currently setting up one of the largest LPG import and export terminals in South Asia. Laughs Holdings chairman WKH Vegapitiya says the company is expanding its interests in the power and energy sector as part of its global expansion strategy.
We have already started constructing the largest LPG import and export facility, which will cater to the growing energy demand, LPG demand in the Indian Ocean rim. So with that facility, we are going to export almost 80% of the capacity. The total investment is estimated as $85 million, which is the largest so far, largest and the only investment made by a Sri Lankan company. The facility will be commissioned April 2018.
He went on to speak of the company's future plans.
Our plan is to add about 20 more ships, which will support that LPG terminal coming up in the Hambantota harbour. And with that, we are going to cater to Sri Lankan, the domestic demand, as well as the regional demand in the east coast of India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and west coast of India, and some of the East African countries. In addition to that, we have set up the largest solar power generation facility. 20 megawatt will be commissioned next week and another 30 megawatts within another 6 months' time.
LAFS is one of the largest diversified conglomerates in Sri Lanka, founded in 1995.
Since rice is the staple meal of all Sri Lankans, this affects most of us. All prevailing taxes on the import of rice have been abolished from midnight today. Instead, a special commodity levy of 15 rupees per kilo is imposed on rice imports. The Ministry of Finance, issuing a release, says it was done in order to keep the prices of rice stable in the local market as a result of the prevailing drought and increasing prices in rice. However, the said concession will not be applicable when importing basmati rice. The new tax will be applied to imports of samba, nadu and red rice. Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake yesterday claimed that the governor of the central bank was also party to the regime that the governor claims had pushed the economy to dire straits. He said this in response to a statement made by Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy while presenting the central bank's roadmap for 2017.
Having an IMF program is the economic equivalent of being in hospital. We are not in the ICU, but we are clearly in hospital. The upside is that the remedial treatment is known, and it is encouraging that it has commenced. The IMF itself has recognized that progress has been made in stabilizing the economy. The Honorable Finance Minister and his team deserve credit for this.
අපේ මහ බැංකුවේ මම හිතන්නේ අධිපති මම හිතන්නේ කියපු දේ විරුද්ධව විකෘති කළා ප්‍රකාශ කළා තියෙනවා කියන එක තමයි මම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ. නමුත් එතුමාගේ මාධ්‍ය තුලින් කියලා තිබෙනවා ආර්ථිකය ICU එකේ නෙමෙයි ඉස්පිරිතාලේ ඉන්නේ කියලා. ඔව් ICU එකේ තමයි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ අපිට බාර දුන්නේ. ඒ ICU එකට තල්ලු කරනකොට එතුමත් ඒකේ ඇටෙන්ඩන්ට් කෙනෙක්.
I believe that what the central bank governor said has been distorted. He has told the media that the economy of the country is not in the ICU but in hospital. When Mahinda Rajapaksa handed over the economy to us, it was in the ICU. At the time, the economy was admitted to the ICU. The incumbent central bank governor worked as an attendant of that hospital. He was with the Rajapaksas too. We will take the economy out of the ICU to the OPD soon. This is the difference between the two governments. We are here to implement measures initiated by the President and the Prime Minister to develop the economy and not to do what the central bank wants.
Still in business news, time to take a look at how the Colombo bourse performed. Here's Imeshi Fernando with the stock update.
Share price index falling by 74.24 points to close at 6,153.02 points, while the S&P SL20 index also decreased by 34.19 points to close at 3,462.25 points. Total turnover value amounted to rupees 2.68 billion, while daily average turnover value amounted to rupees 0.54 billion. Pegasus Hotel was the week's highest price gainer, increasing 14.62% week on week to close at 34 rupees 50 cents. Foreign investors meanwhile closed in a net selling position of rupees 0.97 billion relative to last week's net buying position of rupees 0.01 billion.
Thank you, Shivan Vijayaratnam from Equity Stockbrokers for that update. And now we take a look at the day's foreign currency rates. We take a short break now. We'll be back. And in sports news, it's school cricket to start off with. The centenary encounter between St. Joseph's College Colombo and Wesley College Colombo began at the Campbell Park today. And the two schools are vying for the inaugural Brian Klassen Arthur Haeckel Memorial Trophy.
The trophy is in memoriam of outstanding former captains Brian Klassen of Wesley College and Arthur Haeckel of St. Joseph's College. Josephians electing to bat first declared at 268 runs for 9 wickets in 72.5 overs. Nipun Samarasinghe with 46 runs, Dinet Madhuawala with 42 runs, Jehan Fernandopulle with a century, Pahan Pereira with 51 runs and Dinet Jayakuri 39 not out were the top contributors to the score. The top wicket takers for Wesley were Mohammad Ubaidullah 2 for 45, Movin Subasinghe 3 for 55 and Sakun Taliyanage 3 for 67. In reply, Wesleyites were 57 runs for the loss of 2 wickets at the end of the first day's play. Thisuraka Akmimana is unbeaten on 29. Josephian Lakshan Gamage picked the 2 Wesleyite wickets.
In international cricket, Australia set Pakistan an imposing winning target of 465 in a minimum of 114 overs. After declaring their second innings midway on day 4 of the third test at the Sydney Cricket Grounds. Pakistan made 55 for 1 wicket, needing to bat throughout the final day in order to prevent the hosts from a 3-0 series whitewash.
Oh, David Warner wants a piece of him, and tell you what, he's got a huge piece of it.
Australians declaring their first innings at 538 for the loss of 8 wickets bundled out Pakistan for 315, leaving them a lead of 223 runs. Yunus Khan scored an unbeaten 175 runs and in-form batsman Azhar Ali scored 71 runs during the Pakistani first innings. Josh Hazlewood picked 4 wickets and Nathan Leon 3 Pakistani wickets.
He's now got 4 and finishes the innings.
Batting for their second innings today, Australia made a brisk 241 for the loss of 2 wickets before declaring.
Good shot from Warner, that'll be 4.
David Warner hit a blistering 23-ball half-century, while Stephen Smith contributed with a quick 59 runs and Usman Khawaja was unbeaten at 79 runs as Australia scored at a run rate of 7.5. At the close of play today, Pakistan still need 410 runs to register their first win of the series.
Goes again. He goes to 50 with a better shot. Perfect sweep shot.
We take a short break. We'll be back with international news. Welcome back. The United States said yesterday that North Korea had demonstrated a qualitative improvement of its nuclear and missile capabilities. An unprecedented level of tests in the last year showed the need to sustain diplomatic pressure on Pyongyang.
Good afternoon, everyone.
After meeting with his Japanese and South Korean counterparts, the US Deputy Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirmed that North Korea had conducted 24 missile tests and 2 nuclear tests in the past year.
Even a so-called failure is progress because they apply what they've learned to their technology and to the next test. And in our assessment, we have seen a qualitative improvement in their capabilities over the past year.
The Japanese Foreign Minister Shinjuku Sugiyama highlighted that Japan, the US and the Republic of Korea will respond firmly to any North Korean provocation. Meanwhile, the North Korean state news agency KCNA provided footage of Pyongyang citizens marching and chanting slogans in support of Kim Jong-un.
We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.
Heating up for the elections as we are counting down to the inauguration day of US President-elect Donald J. Trump. He has issued a blanket mandate requiring all political ambassadors appointed by President Barack Obama to leave their posts. Now, Trump set a deadline for his inauguration day on January 20th. Ambassador Mark Gilbert confirmed that Donald Trump's intention to dismiss all politically appointed ambassadors installed by Barack Obama without exceptions. Previous U.S. administrations have traditionally allowed ambassadors with children of school-going age to remain at their posted locations. A senior Trump transition official said the move was essential to ensure that President Obama's envoys leave the government on schedule. Here's some heartwarming news for you. Now, French centenarian Robert Marchand wheeled his way into the record books by cycling more than 22 kilometers in 1 hour. Now, what's so special about that? He set the much-talked-about record on a track near Paris at the age of 105, after training for 6 months for the performance.
Robert Marchand has a huge following in France and was cheered on by hundreds of fans as he rode round the velodrome in Paris, clad in yellow and blue with the number 105 on his back. The former fireman is no stranger to breaking records. Soon after his 100th birthday, he became the fastest cyclist of his age to cover 100 kilometers. Earlier, at age 102, he pedaled almost 27 kilometers in 1 hour. Marchand's previous best in the over 100s category was 26.9 kilometers, which he set in 2014.
And that's a wrap of tonight's news on Other Derana 24/7. Thank you very much for your company. For the very latest 24 hours a day, just log on to www.otherderana.lk or like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Dasman Prematunga. Join us again on Monday night. Good night.
This is Other Derana, and you're watching Other Derana 24/7.